Hello, how the tech are you? This is our weekly tech show on Echoplex Media. We talk about science and tech news and whatever other kind of science and tech stuff we feel like talking about. I am historian Matt, and I talk about random tech stuff that I feel like talking about. I don't have a particular topic usually, but today I'm talking about when bad tech companies go even badder. I don't know. I meant to say good, but totally screwed that up. Anyways, my two stories today are about big tech companies doing stupid stuff. So first one is Google can't fix Pixel watches. And the second one, longer title, but Unity changes to fee per install, killing many independent developer incomes. I'll have to talk more about what that is, what Unity is, and the Google Watch. So HK is out today. So you and I think it's the tinfoil hat.
Yep.
Can't see it.
Yep. So my first story is, have you seen our $80 million aircraft? And the second story is, what if everyone on Twitter had a blue check? Take it away, Matt.
All right. So first story, I want to hit this pretty quickly. There's not a whole lot to it, but Google can't fix their Pixel watches. Basically, the Pixel Watch users with cracked screens and other like issues with their watch are pretty much out of luck for now. There are no replacement parts out there for Pixel watches, and the issue is likely not going to be fixed anytime soon. And on top of that, like there's no parts being made, but also there's not really enough Pixel watches out there for people to take parts from older or other watches that may have been broken for other reasons and moving them into the, taking the parts and using them for still good watches and combining them. So anyways, there's basically no way to fix Pixel watches right now, even though Pixel watches have been out for 11 months and Google has like, contracts with iFixit, I think, to fix all their stuff, including what's supposed to be the Pixel watches. But again, nobody can get a hold of parts, so they just cannot be fixed. So what does Google recommend you do if your Pixel watch breaks? Well, of course, just buy a new one. What do you think, Dave?
I mean, the new one does have parts to fix your old one, but that sort of defeats the point of fixing. That's exactly. Just adding a step where you might actually break the thing too. Because if it's the first time you've ever taken it apart, there's a high probability you might need extra replacement parts for the stuff you broke taking it apart.
Yeah. Apparently, it's actually pretty easy to take apart the Pixel watch. They built it in such a way that it's actually repairable. Just they forgot to make the parts for it to repair it. And it's like, has like small runs and stuff. So that's why you can't get other possibly broken watches. And I'm guessing they all seem to break in a similar way. Pretty much their screen, it's apparently fairly easy to break the screen, crack the screen.
Well, and even if the screen was, just as easy to break as any other screen, or, less inclined to being broken, that's the only part of the thing that's really exposed when you're wearing it anyway. So even if the screen's made of good materials, it's still the most likely thing to break. Just like on a regular watch, if it was you crack the plastic. Well, the plastic ones, those little Casios, are indestructible. But a nice watch, if people broke their watch, it was oftentimes the glass piece.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, that sucks. Do you know how much the watch is?
Oh, I didn't catch it. I don't think it was in the article. I think it's a few $100s. Probably close to what the Apple's watch is. It's basically the competing version because it's Google's. The Pixel is like Google's brand, right? It's their hardware. So I have the Pixel phone. So that's Google's phone. Their answer to the iPhone, and the watch is supposed to be the Pixel watch is supposed to be the answer to they call it iWatch. I don't know if it's Apple Watch or iWatch.
I like iWatch.
Sure. I don't wear watches anymore. Even the smart watches. I think that like non-smart watches are basically anachronisms now. I don't think you should wear them. Smartwatches, I haven't been happy with.
I have a nice watch.
Yeah.
But it was like given to me. And it's like in a box.
Fair enough.
And yeah, I don't wear it. I don't wear like a really nice watch with my like shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It looks kind of nice if I'm wearing like a sport coat and a shirt and tie and stuff.
Yeah, and people wear it as like jewelry now, but
yeah,
I don't know. It just seems weird to me if it's not a smartwatch. And I don't know, when I stopped, wearing watches and just have my phone, my wrists felt free. I didn't want to.
Now that
buying them
you're
again.
Just bumming it, you don't even really care what time it is most of the time anyway.
Yeah, I will have my phone, so it has a big, watt time on the front screen of the phone. So I don't need a watch.
It was like a couple of weeks ago. I had a laugh with this lady at the store because she was trying to pay with her watch, and she was like trying to turn her arm upside down to get the watch onto the payment thing, and she was like, "Screw it!" She pulled out her phone and paid with her phone. I just looked at her and I was like, I saw that. She was like, I'm not going to ask you to pretend you didn't. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, the watches are cool gadgets, but like, I don't really is it in Google's interest to make the replacement parts?
I mean, unless they can convince people to buy new ones instead of trying to repair it, but that was supposed to be kind of the thing behind the Pixel Watch, or one of, the advantages of having the Pixel Watch, because from what I can tell, the Apple's watches are not fixable. So
I also wonder if
somehow.
I also wonder if sort of like a laptop computer, like on the aftermarket, the valuable thing in an aftermarket laptop computer is the screen. So I wonder if the screen, it would have been so expensive that it might have just not been worth it anyway.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, that sucks. I kind of feel sorry for the people that bought the watch, but actually, like you, I think smartwatches are, well, you didn't say it, I'll say it. I think smartwatches are dumb. I think I don't think it does it, I mean, if you're going to go running and it has like a LTE in it and like something bad happens, I guess it's nice to have it. But like, if you're going, the average person going running, you're not like running to try to win the New York Marathon. You can just bring your phone with you if you go for a jog. I don't. They're like, I would have got home a half a second earlier, but I had my phone with me. Well,
most of those watches connect to your phone anyways. You have to have your phone for it to be useful.
I think some of them have LTE, but yeah, I think the ones, most people buy the ones that pair to your phone, right? Because it's more convenient, less expensive, and I bet the battery lasts a lot longer on the watch if it doesn't have LTE.
Right. Yeah.
So, well, that sucks. I do like people being able to repair their own items or take them to maybe to a local shop where somebody has the right tools to be able to repair it. Keep stuff out of the landfill, and keeps some kind of, people who might be sort of handy with a screwdriver, keeps them employed. So, and then, you have your local computer tech repair guy. Maybe you become, or gal, and maybe you become friends even, people have a hard time making friends. So these are all good things. It said they're not going to fix it anytime soon. That probably just means they're not going to do anything about it. And they're going to release the next one and just tell you to buy the next one.
Probably.
And they're probably not going to make replacement parts for that either, because actually like making replacement parts for something like that, I bet they lose money on it in the end. Yeah.
I mean, they probably have to sell like a huge amount. I don't know how much they're selling, but they probably have to sell a huge amount before it becomes worth it. Even though they would lose money, it may be worth it for them to do it anyways, have replacement parts for it, just for good customer service. But,
brand loyalty and stuff.
Yeah. But I don't think they're selling that many.
Wouldn't that be cool if on the next one they say, well, the last one, we thought we did pretty good with the Gorilla Glass and whatever, but for an extra $25, we'll throw in a replacement screen and all the tools you'll need to replace it on the off chance you bust your screen. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
For a while, I forget who it was. It wasn't one of the big brands, but for a while, one of the laptop manufacturers was just sending the laptop with 2 power adapters.
Oh yeah,
that was cool. That was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool reason to buy it. So you'd think maybe sending it with some replacement parts wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, especially if the only thing anybody was breaking in the last one was the screen. If they learned that, that'd be great. If you could just, when you buy it, be like, well, on the off chance my screen goes, I can, I'll have this one in the box. And then maybe if you go to resell or give the watch away, then you go, oh, it has an extra screen too. So, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And Apple would never do that. That would imply that you could fix your item, and Apple doesn't want you to do that.
Right.
All right. What do you got next?
I just want you to buy a new one.
What was that? What do you got next?
What do I have next? This one might be a little bit longer. We'll see. So basically, my next story is Unity changes fee structure, killing many independent developer incomes. Basically, Unity changes its fee structure to charge up to 20 cents per install versus previously not charging a fee per install at all. If you're wondering what Unity is and what I'm talking about, it's a popular 3D engine that a lot of developers use to build mostly video games. They do some other stuff, but I actually used it a while ago working on something that was video game like anyways. And I was thinking about going back and working on that project, but maybe I won't right now. But anyways, before developers you can actually download the, development software for Unity to build the games, to play around. You can download it for free to learn it and get used to it. They would just add what was essentially like an ad beforehand whenever your game would start to advertise themselves. But if you actually were making money off of it, you're supposed to sell it or buy the developer software from them for, I think it was $1,500 or something. That might've been the top tier one. So it was expensive, but it was worth it for a lot of developers to do that. Now I think you have to both pay for the development software, and Unity is going to start charging for each install. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if you have a lot of installs, 20 cents adds up pretty quickly. And on top of that, stuff like free and open source software basically isn't going to be able to handle that because, free software, where are they going to get the money to pay for each install if they're not charging a fee at all? So a lot of Unity developers are very mad. I've added 2 links to articles in the show notes. If you want to read more about it, there's a lot more information on what's going on. And one of the articles actually talks about some developers possibly getting together a class action lawsuit to go after them, although it's some question on whether or not they can do anything about it. But yeah, they're pissing off a lot of people. But so, Dave, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts? I know this is not exactly your area of expertise.
Well, yeah, they're charging when you say per install, does that mean that doesn't mean you've installed the developer version? That means somebody downloads your game running the Unity engine and they install it, and then you get billed when that game phones home.
Pretty much, yes. That exact thing.
So means
their idea is they're basically killing all the free software developers because if you're charging money for your app, 20 cents is not that big of a deal. And I want to point out that this software, you can make games for both, desktop and phone, your phones or whatever mobile device that you have. So, mobile games are usually a lot cheaper than the desktop ones, depending on what they are. But, you can still probably cover 20 cents per install there. But, yeah, it's if you're doing free software though, what are you going to do?
The thing about, most of the mobile games are free to play too. So
yeah.
And it probably takes you a minute to make 20 cents off of ads from the person playing the game, because if you have the ads if the ads are intrusive and annoying, nobody's going to play your game. And if they're sort of out of the way, people are going to be able to ignore them, and they'll see them, and you'll get, I don't even know. I'd have to check on my Google AdSense account to see what kind of bucks I'm rolling. And if somebody just sees the ad, I would imagine it's some fraction of a penny.
Yeah.
So
usually you get paid per 1,000 impressions.
Yeah. Something like
and then
that.
That may be $1,
Yeah.
If you're if you're getting paid a lot.
Yeah. I know the last article I wrote that, got, I don't even know at this point, several 100,000 people have seen it.
Wow.
Well, on my website also, Google AMP is really screws that up too, don't they? And having to push everything to Substack so that a bunch of weirdo, I'm not going to even get into the kind of people I think are on Substack on this show. Having to put it there means you don't get any ad revenue, but I'd have to look, because I think off of hundreds of thousands, I don't think I made a few bucks off of the impressions.
Wow.
I mean,
this is why journalism is dead.
People foolishly clicked some of the ads, and you get some money on that.
Yeah.
And you actually, if they end up buying something after they click the ad, you get a couple bucks off it usually. But yeah, this is bad. I don't know. I feel like you should be able to, and this is, again, just, I don't even know how, this would probably be a pain in the ass to implement, but if you could sign up and be like, I am an open source developer, here's the project I am working on. I do not charge for this project. I am happy to pay the one-time fee to purchase your software. But if we could maybe not do this per install, because then what happens if an OS, like Ubuntu, bundles your software?
Yeah.
And then you're not, nobody's chosen to download it. You haven't, I suppose you could tell Ubuntu not to bundle your software. But then as a developer, why would you want Ubuntu not to bundle your software? But then maybe it's installed on a machine and nobody ever opens it.
Yeah.
But you're being charged for the install anyway.
Yeah.
What a mess. What a mess. It's mostly for 3D stuff and gaming, so it's not going to tend to be bundled with operating systems, I don't think. I think I don't know if anything bundled with any popular OS runs on Unity, but I know that Unity isn't just games.
Right.
I think that one of the more popular DAWs, digital audio workstations, is Unity.
Yeah, well, it's not just 3D software. I did say 3D software, but you can do all sorts of different kinds of animation and stuff with it, including 2D animation. So it makes sense for something that might need some visual aspect to it to use Unity for that.
Yeah, I want, God, is it Ableton? One of the really big pieces of audio production software is on Unity as well.
Yeah.
And I think who knows why that's the case. I mean, there's a lot of graphical stuff going on in audio software.
Yeah.
But there may also be some pretty cool stuff on the back end with the audio and whatnot that is useful to those kind of developers. The other thing is once somebody pays that $1,500, do they also if their game gets huge and they make a ton of money on it, are they also on the hook for more money from Unity for all the purchases of the game?
I don't know. I don't know all the fee structures. I got the impression $1,500 was the top amount, but I think that's a per developer fee, per development, install. So if your game gets really big and you have to hire a bunch of people, then you're paying more because you're paying per developer. But I don't think it's you have to pay per how many people actually use it. Give or take. I don't know. I didn't look up the licensing structure that they have or how it's changed. I remember when I was using it and nobody was using my software. It wasn't released anyways. It was kind of a still in proof of concept phase. I didn't have to pay anything for it. And I could do pretty much what I wanted with it. But it wasn't released and it wasn't installed anywhere.
Well, doesn't sound great. A lot of times though, these companies will do something like this and then it'll end up acting more as a trial balloon or whatever. And they'll be okay, everybody's really pissed off at us. Maybe we shouldn't do this. My question is, are there any direct competitors for Unity? There's the Unreal Engine.
I didn't remember seeing anything that was quite as good or quite the same, but there are other things Unreal Engine is another major 3D programming or 3D engine, definitely, that a lot of people use. But I think that's C++ based as opposed to Unity, which was C#. And that may not make a lot of sense. You probably know what I'm talking about, but to some of our listeners, and viewers, they're very different languages. And I would be more, even though I didn't use C# much, it's more in my wheelhouse of the type of development I do. So that's why I went to Unity instead of doing Unreal Engine.
I mean, and in some ways, a Blender might be a competitor for it in some certain but that's going to be in like niche ways because it's Unreal Engine. Also, you can build a game, and you can't build a game in Blender. You can build some assets for your game in Blender.
Yes.
You can't build the game out in Blender. So, there may be ways in which the alternative for people would be a patchwork of different programs, and then starting to move, moving assets around and stuff starts to be a pain in the ass in that. In that scenario.
Well, I wonder if there'll be an open source version. I've yet to see a good open source 3D engine. HK probably he's more on top of that sort of thing, so maybe he knows. But I mean, from my knowledge, nothing was even close.
The closest thing to that would be Blender, and Blender is not like really a 3D.
But it's not. That's not a 3D engine.
That's just modeling.
Yeah, it's a rendering software, and it's more for making like videos and movies and or just static images.
Yeah, you're not
which apparently you can do with Unity, but it's not the same.
Right, and you're not going to make a game in Blender.
No.
Okay, well that sucks. I hope those people give them what for, or I don't know. I mean, if they would carve out some things for, and there may be carve outs for educational use, like because a lot of these companies do. Yeah. But if there was also carve outs for, hey, I'm using this for this open source project. That would be. If you could carve that out to where that thing calls home and it's like, oh, it's this project. This is an open source project, because you can't possibly tell me that Unity that there is not a bunch of open source software that's like been, leveraged in the creation of Unity. So it would be nice, maybe they should have a little consideration on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess it's my turn. I have two stories. One of them funnier than the other. First one's the funnier one, actually. Seen our $80 million aircraft? The answer now is yes, someone found it. That has been found. I was hoping an alien took it, but that wasn't the thing. So Sunday, September 17th, an F-35B went missing after what was referred to as a mishap, which is a funny way to refer to your $80 million jet disappearing. The pilot ejected, and as of the time of the article I was reading, was thought to be in the hospital, but no reason to believe the pilot's not going to be fine. This happened near Lake Moultrie and Lake Marion. So at the time of reading this, I was like, that plane's probably underwater. The public was asked for help via Twitter, which is why everybody started making fun of this. And usually the transponder would be used to locate the aircraft, but the transponder was not working, or they were unable to receive a signal from it. Did you hear anything about this story, Matt?
I heard about it. I was not following it closely. They said something about the pilot ejected, but the plane, or jet, kept going or something, and it seemed like they thought it didn't crash per se, or had a hard landing. But it would make sense if it went into the water and disappeared. Also, I thought the F-35 was like $1 billion plane.
Oh,
individually,
I think this is I think the B is like a training version of the plane.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know the exact, because it was on a training mission. I think that it's I think this is we'll call it, and I could just be wrong here. So if I'm wrong, leave leave some information in the comments. Maybe the article got it wrong and it's an $800 million plane. Maybe they dropped a zero. But my understanding is that the combat ready one is more expensive to produce because it's not the training version.
Either I'm wildly off or they dropped a zero, because I really thought it was like $1 billion a piece, because that was like a whole debacle of them just buying the planes to begin with, because they don't really use them for anything. That style of war just doesn't happen anymore. Now we're doing like these super cheap drones. But I heard about it. Do they have any idea what happened, or are they just not going to talk about it?
Right before we recorded this, I saw that I saw an article saying that they found a debris field that they're pretty sure is the plane.
Oh, okay.
So this is like right before I reset the computer to do the podcast. I saw an article about it, so I didn't get much of a chance. I am trying to figure out here what the difference between the F-35A and the F-35B is. But I'm not gonna really worry about it. But I think the B. Oh, B's slower. It's considerably slower. I mean, well, I don't know. It takes 18 more seconds to accelerate from Mach 0.8 to Mach 1.2. I don't know if you'd call that slow. Probably still, if you got dropped in that thing as a passenger, it'd probably still make you maybe piss your pants or something. But
yeah,
I think the B is I think they use it for training and stuff. So maybe it just has, less of everything. But I agree with you, or I have the same recollection that I don't think 80 million was the number on the plane. It could also be the manufacturing cost has come down since.
That's true. They've built a number of them, but
yeah. Anyway,
well,
I don't know. If they think the plane kept flying, I wonder why maybe the pilot ejected because he accelerated from Mach 0.8 to Mach 1.2 and was like, nope, let's get out of here. No flying planes for me. That's not funny though. I mean, the guy he's in the hospital, so clearly he was injured and stuff. So yeah it's not funny.
Well, that's the thing. You can get injured from ejecting, like purely from the ejection process, not from
hard landing.
Anything that happens in the plane itself.
Well, or there are many points where you ejecting from a fighter jet is it's not the typical way to get out.
Yes.
So it is a violent process. Absolutely.
To put it in perspective, like the first thing they usually have to do is when they eject, the seat and them go through the canopy of the plane. That doesn't get like blown off first because that would take too much time. So they eject everything through the canopy of the plane, so that the glass shell they're going through, and that's where a lot of them get injured initially. And then of course landing, even though they're parachuting, like landing can be problematic,
especially if you were injured on your way out of the plane.
Yes.
Well, we'll find out more about this. I was really hoping, that an alien took it. I was really hoping an alien took it.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't think that was true, but I mean, world's a crazy place.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move on to my next story here. And it's just, what if everybody on Twitter was a blue check? This article's from Platformer. There's a lot of stuff in this article, but the most interesting thing I found in this article was that during a live stream meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Musk said that he might just make everyone pay for Twitter, which would be to prevent bots. With them, I don't know why he would talk about this with the head of state of some country, but and then there was a whole bunch of other weird stuff going on about Twitter and people being fired again and then asked to come back to their job, like happened before. There's stuff about the severance pay still not going out. This is a pretty comprehensive article by Casey Newton over there at Platformer, and I couldn't possibly go over all of it, but Platformer is an essential read if you're sort of interested in the intersection of culture and technology. Matt, I know you're not even on X, but if he makes everybody pay for it, would you be inclined to join just to pay for it?
I would be interested in watching it, but like if it was anybody but Elon Musk, like asking that people pay for Twitter, I would think that maybe that would be an advantage. But the way Elon Musk has been running X, he seems to be supporting the people who are causing the problems or the issue on X, not the ones that are making the place better. So, but there's evidence to suggest if you pay for stuff, platforms that are paid for entry tend to be better, and people tend to like them more, less bad people on there. I was going to say something else.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk under the previous management of Twitter of just something like even just $2 a month, right? Just $1.99 a month, just and to not restrict it, except that if you don't pay, you can't post. You could have a read-only account, you can follow people, but to post, you have to just pay $2 a month. That was a suggestion that I kind of liked, but that's, again, we're sort of, me saying I like it is sort of speaking from a position of privilege, because there are things that have happened on Twitter, like the Arab Spring that happened on Twitter. And,
good point.
And some of those people, I don't know if they don't have $2 a month, but they might be unbanked, right?
Yeah.
Because the regime unbanks them if they're activists. or there's other things like a regime could stop payments to Twitter, thus basically banning people from using it, right? Like not allow the banks to process the payments, which would be a way to kind of block people from posting on there without really blocking them from posting on there. So even just putting that friction in there, for you and me doesn't seem like a big deal, but you start to think about like the situations elsewhere in the world and some of the more positive ways that Twitter and other social media have been used over the years, and paywalling it, I think, prevents that. It also sort of forces marginalized groups to give Twitter their government name. People, sex workers, queer folks, that kind of stuff. And I think that's bad too. I don't really care if Elon Musk goes ahead and makes that read only. If you don't pay him the $8 a month, I guess I'm just reading Twitter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you talk about the, marginalized people and people who are, maybe trying to overthrow their local government or something. But I feel like those people are not on Twitter anymore because of all the BS that's happening on X, now X. Well, anyways, but you kind of assume if they start charging money, like requiring you to pay money to be on there, they're going to lose like 90% of their users overnight.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, while they may still be on Twitter, if they were doing anything, let's say subversive, they might tend not to do it openly on Twitter anymore, all things considered.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I wouldn't, if there were mass protests in the United States again for, over police brutality or any other such issue, I would really, really, be telling people, hey, don't do your organizing here.
Yeah.
I don't know where to tell you to do it, but do it all over a video ninja call. I don't know what to tell you. I think he's just saying it though. He's just said this a bunch of times. I don't even know why would he tell that, like, or is Benjamin, is Benjamin now, who's still the prime minister over there. But why would he tell any head of state that he planned on charging people for Twitter? Like, why do they care? Like,
don't know.
What a dumb thing. Anyway, I'm sort of hoping for like an inflection point to happen with this company where the service just goes down for 4 or 5 days. Yeah. I have a few Blue Sky invites, by the way, everybody, if you need them. Also, Mastodon is great. I should use Mastodon more, but I still try to post every day, or okay, I'm lying. I try to post every week. And and I try to read a little bit of it and stuff. And I don't know what's going to go. I don't know what's going to go on here, but he can't possibly do this because the article also said that he was telling advertisers that users were coming back, but there was no evidence that the users are coming back. So it's like, well, you're telling the advertisers one thing, and then you're telling the prime minister of a country something else. He's not even the CEO anymore. He's the CTO. He's the chief technical officer. He hired the former NBC, was an executive from NBC, a former NBC executive, to go try to repair, the relationship with the advertisers. So he's not even what's the CTO doing talking to the head of state of another country about the revenue of a company? Like, what is going on?
Do you know if he's president of the board though?
Oh, I think he's probably still chair or president of the board of directors. Yeah, you're probably right.
That's probably why. So it's
probably he doesn't know that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know what's going on. I mean, Twitter was kind of a mess before, but it was like kind of a fun mess. And they were doing their best to like try to be fair and try to like stop the worst impulses of humanity on there. They weren't always good at it, but there were people there who were trying. And we got to meet
the good fight, right?
we got to meet some of them as Elon Musk fired them, and they went on TV interviews to talk about it. Some of them seemed lovely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what's gonna go on with Twitter. We'll see. I think what we're going to be covering one day is going to be mass outages of the service. It won't like be something where They didn't maintain the data center. I think it'll be something where he didn't pay the data center.
Yeah.
And then he'll try to get in a big fight with them on Twitter and he can't.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess I'll read us out. I haven't read us out in a few weeks, I don't think. That's been our tech show. It's How the Tech Are You? We do this show. We record it Mondays. We don't broadcast it live because it's my day off. Check out our other shows. You can find all our stuff at echoplexmedia.com. You can watch us live on Twitch at twitch.tv/echoplexmedia and at our website, echoplexmedia.com. Click that support tab if you like what you're seeing here. There's a bunch of different ways to support us. My favorite is the merch, like this hat. Have a great tech and week.